Want to pass the bar exam the first time? Great! Let's look at what's truly important, what's not important, and why. Data proves when more students at a school choose BARBRI, pass rates at that school go up. When they don't choose BARBRI, rates drop. For every 10% increase in students who just enrolled in BARBRI Bar Review, 2% more students passed at each school. Conversely, for every 10% increase in the number of first-time takers at each school who did not take BARBRI, the pass rate fell by 2%. The simple truth is, BARBRI works better, regardless of how much work students do. But what happens when we add student work to the equation? Here are the people who passed, the average BARBRI student, and those who were unsuccessful. The average passing student peaks at about 8.5 hours a day. You've heard that studying for the bar exam should be a full-time job? There it is. The difference between passing and failing? About 1.5 hours a day. See how close the average and passing lines are? That's because BARBRI students who do the average amount of work have a pass rate of about 90%. That's a great number, but it's not what really matters. Here's why. Published pass rates are notoriously inaccurate. Most states don't release enough information to calculate a precise rate. To compensate, rates are often based on surveys, small samples, or incomplete data. More importantly, pass rates tell you absolutely nothing about how you will actually do on the bar exam. So let's look at what really matters. Our data scientists work with law schools all over the country, and the results are the same. Each dot here represents a BARBRI student and shows the relationship between the amount of work each student did and their score on the actual bar exam. In this state, the passing score is 675 out of 1,000. That's the target. And you can see that as students do more work, their score increases. The more work BARBRI students do, the more points they get. Students who aren't studying with BARBRI, same idea. More work means more points. But let's put them together. For the same amount of effort, BARBRI students are getting more points, and that matters. When we look at the average scores of each of these groups of people, you see that the non-BARBRI students had an average score much closer to the pass line, and more just barely missed the cut line. We call that separation the BARBRI cushion, and boy is it comfortable. Now, sure, the bar exam is pass-fail, but how close do you want to cut it? How thin a cushion do you really want on exam day? Now let's talk about how BARBRI will help you get the biggest bar exam cushion. Let's talk about what your study will be like. It starts with Isaac, the engine that drives your BARBRI personal study plan. Isaac combines artificial intelligence with decades of actual intelligence to focus on areas most likely to be tested, adjusts to you as the course progresses, and then assigns work accordingly. You'll spend about 24% of your time acquiring knowledge through lectures, and 30% of your study time on multiple choice practice questions. The essay sections of the bar exam are really important, so about 17% of your study time will be spent developing writing skills with a combination that we call directed essay grading. It's an active process that we'll talk more about later. Let's break those numbers down to see how they look and change throughout the course. This is the number of hours assigned each day. Early on, you'll spend most of your time with lectures. Notice the peaks and valleys? The weekends. Then comes time spent reviewing and organizing notes for retention, along with multiple choice practice questions that build in complexity throughout the course. This activity peak is the simulated multi-state bar exam. More on that in just a minute. As we get several weeks in, you'll see the written assignments start to peak too. So there's the 10,000-foot view of how you'll spend your time. But which activities and assignments matter most or least? Our data scientists constantly evaluate assignments and their correlation to actual bar passage. Everything assigned during your BARBRI course is correlated to success on the bar exam. It's designed to be the most efficient and effective. These darker boxes, higher numbers, assignments more highly correlated to bar passage. Lectures, diagnostic assessments, multiple choice practice questions, and essays are the most highly correlated, right where Isaac has you spending the majority of your time. Take a closer look at practice essays and graded essays. While both matter, the practice essays in every single instance are more correlated to your success. What does this mean? We know that turning in essays for grading without waiting for feedback isn't productive. And even when you get feedback, you might look at the notes and then move on. It's more of a passive exercise. But when you self-analyze practice essays, compare your answer to the BARBRI model answer, and wrestle with the differences, that's active. And data proves that this self-analysis and wrestling is what builds the cushion. Next, look at the extremely high BARBRI simulated MBE score correlations. About a month before your actual bar exam, you'll take BARBRI's 200-question MBE simulation. You'll learn exactly how it feels to sit and survive the MBE. That's important. But you'll also get a report showing where you sit on the curve compared to thousands of other BARBRI students. And that's invaluable, especially when you consider that each year, BARBRI prepares more law school graduates than all other bar reviews combined. BARBRI is different. BARBRI works better. Data proves it. Now it's time to put BARBRI to work for you, just like over 1.3 million lawyers before you.